What is going on, Bolt fam? Um, I know today's a little bit rough. You know what? I had a day to digest it. I'm not super mad. You know what? I think the team went out. We played hard. But before we kind of get into it, look, man, I got to give it to the Steelers. They are a type of team that we are striving to be. Mike Tomlin, year in and year out, figures it out no matter who he has playing quarterback. Every year, he's got a legitimate defense. I think they have a great culture, great organization, and I can't take nothing away from them. Both teams came out physical, and I think at the end of it, they ended up winning that fight. But it kind of like helps me look into the future to see like this is the kind of culture that we want to build here with the Chargers. But I know everyone's talking about the injuries, and yes, it sucked, and it did ruin the outcome of the game. But you know what? They had players out as well. At the end of the day, you know what? Injuries are a part of the game, so I don't want to make that an excuse. It does suck because, like I said, it looked like a great game, and it was going to be great to the finish. But it is what it is. It's part of the game. At the end of the day, in the second half, they out-physicaled us. They played hard, and then they ended up winning the game, right? But that's the kind of team that we're striving to be. So I think there's a lot of good to take from it. For us to be, because I felt like we were going blow for blow with them until the fourth quarter, and everyone started to get hurt. But so I'm optimistic about what this team can become. And not only that, hey man, look, the Steelers have been looking for a QB1 for a while. I wasn't the biggest Justin Fields believer, but hey, I may be wrong about that because he's looking good. He looked great yesterday. He didn't make any poor throws. Like, he was doing what he could with what he was given, and I got to give that to the Steelers, man. So before we get into anything else, I just wanted to say that. So yeah, getting into it, man. Tough loss. I think I really saw us winning this game, so I gotta hold that L too. But you know what? I saw a lot of good, and I know a lot of people are panicking. Yes, we lost. Losing our two tackles, I think, is brutal because it's a huge core of our identity. And I think the other problem with losing our tackles was we saw what our backups look like. And when I say that, Heineke didn't get an opportunity to even show what he could possibly do as a backup, he had zero time to throw the football. I don't know what we're supposed to do with that. I have not seen a pocket collapse that fast. I don't think ever. Like, Heineke literally couldn't even drop back before he got hit. So that to me is a huge concern, right? So looking at it so far, I don't know too much about Rashawn Slater outside of the pectoral. I think it was a pectoral strain. I don't know if he's planning to sit out next week. Same thing with Joe Alt. It looks like he has an MCL sprain on his knee. Something that isn't going to just... I don't think he should rush back into playing. Justin Herbert re-aggravating that ankle, which, again, in hindsight, would have been better to just keep him out of the game so he could be better for this divisional rival we have coming up with the Chiefs. And Joey Bosa. Look, I'm sorry. Like, I get that Joey Bosa's huge and, like, he's been great. He looks like he could be Defensive Player of the Year, but this is year in and year out with Joey, so I'm not making excuses for it. This guy can never stay healthy, man. So it's what it is, man. It's just unfortunate. But yeah, we missed some 4 big pieces, and the big concern is that I don't know if we could, because I still believe that we could win. This team is built to win some games even without Herbert, with the way we can run the football. The problem is, without our tackles, I don't know if our offensive line is going to be able to hold. I do think we really need to work on the interior of the offensive line. Bozeman doesn't look great to me. But having Pipkins at tackle was just atrocious, man. I don't know. We can't roll out with that against the Chiefs. But for me at this point, when it comes to all the guys that we had injured, just let them rest. Let them rest. Let them get the bye. Let's retool, refocus. Let's see what this coaching staff can do to make this team competitive against the Chiefs. I would rather go 2-2, going into the bye, knowing that we're going to come back healthy, than to continue to risk our players and then having some guys out for weeks. Let's just regroup after the bye. For now, try to get the best, most motivated team out there to go out and compete. And I think they'll still put up, a good game against them. I think the only concern is going to be who's going to be playing for our tackles. Because, like I said, what I saw against the Steelers once Slater and Joe Alt went out, it was just bad. It was really bad. And if we're going to have any type of running game, we need to be able to control that line of scrimmage, and we definitely did not do that. But outside of that, like I said, like the beginning of the game, man, I was having a great time. To see how hard the defense was hitting, man, they were flying around. They were hitting hard. But yes, unfortunately, even the defense looked like they kind of broke down towards the end. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't really stop the pass anymore. They were getting absolutely zero pressure on the quarterback. It wasn't the case through the first 3 quarters, man. They were getting the fields. They were getting in that backfield. They were causing havoc. But towards the end, like I said, the fourth quarter, we had kind of a meltdown. But I think this is where great coaching staff and good teams and good culture gets set. We are going to get beat. We knew this wasn't going to be a one-year turnaround. This team can still make the postseason, but it's going to be how do you rebound from a loss like this? How do you get yourself together? How do you pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, and come back to the next week fight harder? Look, injuries are a part of the game. Unfortunately, we lost some vital pieces, but there's, like I said, it's part of the game. There's nothing you can do. We can't change that right now. It's just like, how does this coaching staff adjust and, figure out a way to continue to stay competitive for the weeks to come. But yeah, man, look, I saw a lot of good, and I know a lot of Charger fans are a little down. I know everyone's talking about Ben Herbert as well. It make us harder to break. Unfortunately, it's still looking like the Chargers just continue this curse of getting injured year in and year out. But it's not just the Chargers. Man, a lot of guys are going out this year. There's been a lot of injuries throughout the league. And there's been some positives. You know what? Unfortunately, the Chiefs won yesterday, but, the Raiders ended up losing, which the whole Bryce Young story, man, that's going to be something else. I think that kid, I don't know about that kid's confidence anymore now that Andy Dalton comes out and just shows up like that. But the fact that the Raiders are 1-2 makes it better for us. A lot of teams that we needed to lose are losing. At this point, you know what? Like we're still in the race. We still got this. The Chiefs, unfortunately, it looks like they're gonna run away with the division unless we find a way to win this game. But they got to start losing some games. But yeah, Bull fam, look, there's a lot of positive to take from this. Seeing how great this team has turned it around within a year, I think is really encouraging to me. People forget that we were 5-12 last year, or was it 5-13? So knowing that we were able to turn it around as quick as we have, not only that, but this is next year, knowing that we have so much in salary cap, and then another draft and free agency, like this team is still 2 to 3 years away from being what it's supposed to be, what Harbaugh wants it to be. So we're okay. No need to be discouraged. It's now just kind of time to continue to believe and support the team and let this coaching staff cook and see what they're going to have, what kind of game plan they're going to have going up against the Chiefs. But I think they're going to figure it out. Then I do want to give credit to not just the defense for being so hard hitting, but the offense before the injuries was gelling really well. And another player that continues to elevate his game outside of J.K. Dobbins is Quentin Johnston. Quentin Johnston, another touchdown. He seems to continue to find the seams, get open. I get so excited to see how much he has improved over the course of this year and to see how Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman are using him and using him to his potential, allowing him to learn, building his confidence. I don't know whether he will be a true number one at some point, but he is a great receiver, a starting receiver, and to see him continue to elevate his game makes me really happy for him. So good job, QJ. This offense played so well until, the injuries. But this was something that I did want to see, was how this team was going to perform against a really hard-nosed defense by the Steelers. And you know what? Because against the Raiders, we could move the ball. And I still felt against the Panthers, we could have done a little better. But to see this team play offense the way it did against the Steelers made me excited. There was a lot of potential there. So that's something else that I did want to make sure that I covered before. You know what? Like I said, the injury sucked, but there were a lot of positives to take from this game. Like I said, I think we're all a little bummed out about it, but we'll keep an eye out for, Herbert's injury. But like I said, just sit him. Hopefully Alt's not going to be gone for too long. But if we have to sit him for the Chiefs, sit him. Slater, hopefully, again, nothing too serious. If he has to sit for the week, sit him. Let's not take any huge risks. Well, I think this team will figure it out and compete against the Chiefs. Anyways, Bull fam, I know this was tough, and then we'll get a little more in depth and talk about the Chiefs game, but I think right now it's just like, figuring out how we're going to handle this. I don't know. I just hated the way that game ended. But it's okay. I'm a believer. And I think this team, I made a crazy bet yesterday with a friend that we will win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years, and I still believe that. It'll happen. This team is making good progress. Don't be discouraged. You know what? In years past, when it came to Brandon Staley, I felt discouraged because this team was like losing due to so many different reasons. And this one, I just feel like, you know what? We did collapse a bit, but I don't feel like the team felt like they lost morale. There was a lot of good to take from this, which is something I couldn't say in a lot of losses in the prior regimes. This team is still finding a way to fight, and I don't think that usually there was like nothing good to take away from the losses. I think here there was a lot of positives that they did in this game. So also, look, man, I know this is a little annoying, and I hate this because it's part of the game, but Jesus, man, I did felt like we did get extremely over penalized in this game. Like, man, the penalties were just killing us. I mean, one drive where we gave up only a field goal and we got penalized for 45 yards. And some of these penalties, man, were just, I don't know, man, they're egregious. And I get it sometimes, like, it's going to go your way. Sometimes it's not going to go your way. But I just hate when games get kind of, like, controlled by, those flags. And some of these calls, man, are just so bad. Like, the roughing the passer on the quarterbacks, I think is brutal. I think the NFL got a little too soft when it comes to that, because Jesus Christ, man, some guys are just getting, it's just like the momentum is carrying them, and you're penalizing for roughing the passer. I think that needs to change a bit. But like I said, I don't want to go out and say like that was another reason, because it's part of the game. Sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. So I'm not going to take that away from the Steelers, man. They played a great game. I can't wait to the day that we kind of reach their level of physicality and culture, because, hey, man, hats off to the Steelers. I lost my bet. I'm going to take that. I'm going to hold that L. I came in with the idea that we were going to win 17-10. And that's what it is, man. But anyways, hold your head up, Bull fam. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about it. We're going to retool and regroup just like our team. And then we'll be able to get more in depth in, for what's to come for the Chiefs and the bye week coming up. Health-wise, man, can Ortiz maybe make some moves? Because I think we need depth at this offensive line. Pick up some other pieces. And let's see. Look, if Tyler Heineke has to go out, we already traded for him. Let's see what he can do next week. But protect Herbert. Unfortunately, Herbert just can't stay healthy, it seems like. But at this point, man, keep him onto the sideline. Let him recover fully. Let that ankle recover. No reason to risk it again. We'll go into it with a, healthy after the bye. But anyways, let's focus on the Chiefs coming up. And we'll talk soon, Bo fam. Peace.